Today we are here in Souderton, PA. This is our 35th Midas Auto Repair franchise, and we had this thing totally renovated in 10 days. I'm gonna tell you about how we did that, and ultimately why I think this could be one of our best stores. This waiting room we totally remodeled in 10 days. We're gonna throw up the pictures here to kind of show the before and after. When you came in, they had a big counter that was like all the way here, massive, probably took up half the waiting room. The floor was some old tile, the old ceiling, no TVs. And so we came in here with this new look, new flooring, new paint, custom built countertops that actually my dad made this in his garage. Pretty handy. I think he built this thing for like $500 or something of materials versus the couple grand that they wanted to charge. New signage, new everything. I mean, it feels so much better. Amazing to see the transformation in just 10 days that we turned this thing around. So this is that's what it looks like.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
that's horrible. You said 10 days.
Yeah, it's 10 days.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. We've never done it something. Usually it's like a month. My dad built this thing.
Yeah, I know. He was telling me. He's brilliant
I know.
with that. I told him, I said, if I ever buy a house, I'm calling you for any renovations.
So now he's like, Colin's like, all right, I need like 3 more of them. So he set up this like a little factory in his garage to like make them more efficiently.
Yeah.
Do you find a lot of the customers are former customers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's only one person that was super bummed that we weren't on a project. They wanted a Taco Bell. And I was like, well, we are not a Taco Bell. So sorry for that.
That's funny.
I mean, that'd be pretty awesome, but no. But we're getting a lot, I'm a former customer. I love that you guys are here.
Okay. That's the nice thing about taking over like an existing shop is like we kind of absorb that customer base.
Yeah.
Versus if we just built another shop right next to it, that would be more competing.
And we're getting a lot of people from like this.
The new neighbor?
Back here.
Okay.
They're, I just walk out, do you need to ride home? No, we're right back here, we can walk. There's a lot of people that are coming.
And they're only like half done on that too.
Yeah,
so.
They really put that one up that we're working on, that one really blew up real fast, so.
Yeah, we're here, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
One of the questions is like, well, what are you most worried about when doing a deal like this? So I think there's a couple things that kind of we had to cross off our minds to be able to take the risk, personally guarantee leases, sign franchise agreements, invest, $150,000 or whatever it was to get this thing rolling. Number one, the other operator here failed, right? This was a store that lost money every single month from them. They could have made it work. So like, why do I think that I, would do better than them? I think a lot of times we want to grow and expand. Like we do it because we want a bigger and better future, right? We want more. But then at the same time, like, what if it's a complete disaster? What if the store ruins us? What if we lose a bunch of money and now we're worse off than we were if we just didn't do anything at all? I think that's like a really big fear anytime you want to grow. And so then it's this question of, well, how do we overcome that, right? I think for me, it's number one, 34 other stores. Like we have a very good process in terms of how we operate. And in my mind, like I don't really care as much of what the competitor's doing. I don't really care what anybody else is doing. I like to focus on like, what are the things that I can control? We can control how we answer that phone. And do we say, yes, you can bring it in, we'd be happy to help. We can control when the customer has a good experience so that they come back to bring more cars to us and tell their friends and family. But all those things are like within my world and what I can control by hiring good people, having a good process, and doing everything that we continue to do. One of the ways that we make a lot of money is through direct mail. We spend about $750,000 a year sending these to homes. It's one of the best way that we can get leads because a lot of times people don't go very far to get their cars fixed. A lot of times they'll stay within like a couple miles of where they either live or work. So we just launched this store and we did this massive mailing. We hit, I don't know, at least 10,000 homes that are kind of in this vicinity with this big grand opening mailer that included a bunch of stuff on the back, which was, a buy one, get one oil change. So buy one oil change, get one for free. A buy 3 tires, get one free. A free flat repair, so a lot of great value. We also do this scratch off feature. Every single one, someone can take a coin and scratch it. And so for this one, it's a free brake check. We've done others that are free oil changes, free wiper blades, free alignment checks. Like the point is everyone gets something. They were just telling me how, a customer came in winning the free oil change and like, is this legit? Is this actually free? Is this a bait and switch? And we said, no, it's all legit. The car came in, we did the oil change. He also said, hey, I think I need a tune-up. So we ended up doing the spark plugs. Had a great experience. And then he said, hey, do you have time today to do the other cars in my family? So then the guy ended up bringing like literally 3 more cars the same day from this one mailer and the one free oil change. A typical oil change might cost us $12 of oil, maybe $30 if it's synthetic, but somewhere between $12 to $30 to like acquire that customer. But we do a good job. The average person spends over $1,000 a year on their car. So that one oil change gets them in the store. Not only we get that car, but 3-4 members. I mean, it could be $3,000-4,000 of revenue, all from a single mailer that cost me, 32 cents or like whatever this thing is. Funny thing about this is we don't have signage on the building. See, we've got this like image here. I took a picture of the store and then on ChatGPT said, make me an image that has the word Midas and service experts. And so it was the actual image I took on my phone, put into ChatGPT, and that's the one we're using. We have the signage. It's at Colmar, but we're waiting on, I guess, the install guys.
I know we have some giant ass stuff in the back.
Here we got the signage for the building. You know, all the signs that go up top there are custom made. Cost us like $20,000, I want to say. They're hard, they have lights in them, we got to get electricity run, they're set on timers. But we also need permits from the township. We need, you know, sign guys essentially to come and put them up here. But they're going to be pretty sweet. It's amazing how much stuff they stocked at these stores.
Oh, yeah.
They had the whole thing, like tie rods, ball joints, brake pads. So our vision is we get big enough, or busy enough, we can, you know, cut out another bay door here and then go back, we can have another back-to-back, and then just shift all this shit down. We've been looking for more stores to acquire in the market. You know, we have a bunch of stores throughout Philly and Jersey. One of the hardest parts about expanding a retail automotive business is finding good real estate. You know, we operate in a very specific building, you know, so we work with brokers, we outreach to competitors, and in this case, we sent a cold DM to the CFO of a publicly traded company and said, you know, hey, we are looking to acquire stores in this market. If there's any stores that you're looking to possibly exit, like we could help you with that. And crickets. We heard nothing back from this one cold DM LinkedIn message we sent. So that was in February. Until about May-ish, I want to say, maybe it was April, where they responded. The CFO responded and said, actually, we do have this location that we are looking to exit early, and if you want it, we can talk about you guys taking it over. We want good retail locations. And so we got a Dunkin' Donuts across the street. We got an AutoZone. We got this major intersection. Then we got a McDonald's. We got a Five Below. We got grocery stores, Planet Fitnesses. You know, all these mega retail right here on the same road. And then you look this way. Now, a couple years ago, this was nothing but a giant, you know, dust or whatever it was on the Google map. And like literally they just built a brand new Starbucks drive-through. They have a Goddard School across the street. There's, I want to say it's like 150-ish townhomes that are brand new that they're building. There's going to be retail on the bottom. There's a Dollar Tree. You've got this pad site. It's like, what does that tell you, right? Like that tells you that there's a bunch of other, you know, people that are way smarter than me, way better at real estate, who see like this sub-market here as a great place to invest hundreds of millions. I have no idea what it costs, but if they're putting all this money and there's all this traffic and there's all these people and like this is clearly like a growing area, and now we're the only major branded auto repair here in this town, right? There's other independents, but that's fine. It goes back to like, why do I believe in location? Why would I take this risk? You know, why would we do this? And a lot of it is like, we believe in ourselves, we then believe in the location, and then we believe in just, you know, our ability to get it done. So one of the big important parts to our business plan is tires. Tires is one of the big categories that we are focused on driving, and there's a couple reasons, but the biggest one is that it's a very sticky service where there's all these stats that say like 70% of people get their service work done where they buy tires. Now, tires themselves are like a lower margin service, it's more of a commodity. You know, it takes longer to do. Like there's a bunch of reasons a lot of shops don't want to do tires, right? And even across the system, like we have stores that struggle with it. But then on the other hand, there's all this stuff that says if you sell somebody tires, it creates this bond, it creates this loyalty, and then they come back for brakes, suspension work, other maintenance. All the stuff that honestly is like more profitable work for us than tires. It's not necessarily like a loss leader, but it's something that, you know, we want to sell in order to kind of get to this bigger picture. Now, the challenge with the tire business is it's inventory based, right? There's like hundreds of different sizes and there's hundreds of different qualities, right? You at the low end, you have cheap Chinese shit. In the middle grade, you've got, you know, reasonably priced, middle of the road. And then at the highest end, you've got like your Michelins and your BF Goodrich's and high-end Goodyears. And so it's the question of, well, what do you stock, right? We've been the last couple of years trying to do simple. Years ago, we tried to do it all. We had cheap stuff, middle stuff, high-end stuff. And it was a nightmare to manage from an inventory, from a stocking models. And so we've switched now to this model. I think it's like 150-ish tires, something like that are the most common SKUs. And we stock one brand and one line. So one manufacturer, one line. And for us, it's these GT Radial Max Tour LS They are made in America. I think in South Carolina they have a 70,000 mile like tread warranty. They're a good price for consumers. There's like, you know, decent margin for us, and overall it's a really good middle of the road tire. By consolidating, let's call it like 10 different options for our team down to one, us as like salespeople presenting what we have, it becomes a lot easier because now we just really have to understand like the features and the benefits of this one tire rather than trying to like understand, you know, 10 different options. And like we have a warehouse that's like a half hour from here. We can get people anything they want. They want the Michelins, they want the BF Goodrichs, they want the cheap Chinese shit. Like we can get them anything. But in terms of what we stock, what we can do delay, we figured let's go middle of the road, solid like bread and butter tire. And so that's the plan. But no, I got it. Thanks for calling Midas. This is Brian.
Okay, great. Yeah, we can definitely help you with that.
Yep. Yeah, right by the new Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, we could do later. I mean, it could be 4. Is that better for you? Great. We'll see you around 4 o'clock then. All right. Thank you. See you soon. Thanks. You always say yes, no matter what they ask. You always say yes.
What they ask?
If you could come in at 4:30 instead of 4. And sometimes people say no because we close at 5. It's not necessarily the time we leave, but the time we really should stop taking cars at 5. Not we have to walk at the door right at 5.
Fast as that phone.
I know. I'm a ninja. All right, good. We have another store that's about 11-minute drive from here. The other big concern was cannibalization. Would this new store steal from our other store? Because at the end of the day, if we're just stealing the sales from one store and put it from one pocket to the other, like there's no net gain, right? And maybe we're up like a little bit, but then we're hurting that store. The franchisor here has a bunch of fancy software that we're able to like look at that and try to estimate how much cannibalization would there be. At the end of the day, there's going to be some, but we decided, hey, we didn't think it was going to be that much. And once again, the market for auto repair is a huge market, and if we could just do a really good job owning what's around us, we'd be totally fine. And so far, like this month, the other store is pacing like 90% up or something. Like we're almost going to double the revenue in that store in this month versus last year. And this store is like off to a great start and crushing it. And so like our total net gain is significant, and we haven't lost a penny over there. And this store's continuing to grow and crush every month. So that fear of like cannibalization and hurting it and all that stuff, like I don't think it's a problem either. Yeah, so I think a final worry of this store specifically, it's the only third that we opened from scratch, like from totally zero. Every other store we've acquired it, right? And so we were acquiring existing sales or some sort of customer base, but it's the only third one that we opened totally from zero. And so that's the big question, right? How long is it gonna take to grow it? How long until we start making money? And the good news, like looking at the store sales is, we started off really slow. We did like $100 the first day we were open, maybe $5,000 the first week, $7,000. We hit 15,000, we hit 20,000, and now the store is already making money 6 weeks into opening it, and so kind of de-risks a lot of it. So I'm really excited to watch this store grow. I think it could be one of the best we have in the company.